Welcome back to another episode of the Genesis Podcast. It's your boy Desi,
Mello,
Colin,
and it's Jason.
Ooh, this is a good one today, guys. How you guys feeling though today? How you guys feeling?
Not gonna lie, bro. I'm feeling kind of down still. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Why? What's going on?
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. A lot of things are going on, bro. I'm playing, bro. I'm good, bro.
You're good?
I'm good.
Yo, I feel like,
Man's are wondering, bro. Man's like, yo, what happened to Jay? Nah, I'm blessed, man. I'm just joking.
But I mean, like, we're getting the hang of this now. This is probably episode, 4, 5?
Episode 4.
4. So
Yep.
I feel like we're getting the hang of this, and, we're getting a lot of, attention from a particular category.
Are we?
So,
Are we?
So I guess, we're going to talk about something today. It's going to be a good topic. I have some questions for you guys. And today's topic is going to be on relationships.
How did I know it was gonna come to this?
You knew it was going to be on this?
I had a feeling it was gonna come to this, man.
Okay, well, are you ready?
I'm not.
You're not ready?
Not at all.
Colin, you ready?
I'm ready.
Mello, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so today's topic, guys, is our relationships. If you did not listen to the last episode, we did go and talk about media and Christianity, just how media affects our walk with Christ, and we really want to take the time to really tell you guys to go back and listen to that if you did miss that episode, and you can catch other episodes on the Genesis Cast on Spotify, and definitely go out, listen to it. But, for today's episode on relationships, we're really going to just have an open discussion really about relationships. Really, you guys are 3 married men. I feel like there's a lot of things that you guys can dive into and speak about in today's episode. So no real, it's just going to be an open dialogue, and I'm going to ask you guys some questions, and, you guys are going to answer.
All right.
You guys are ready.
Yeah, ready. Let's get to it.
I really wanted to ask you guys, though, like, the first thing, what made you choose your spouse?
Who's going first?
Oh man!
Like, what made me choose my spouse? It wasn't like I didn't pick her. It was just at first I didn't even like my wife Nella. What would made me like her was like when we started growing in ministry. Because Christians' relationships are different. It's not like a worldly relationship. Because we are Christians, we don't have boyfriends and girlfriends and all the accolades. You see someone in church you like, I would suggest that you build a relationship and a friendship with her. Just don't go over random and say, hey, I like you, I want to court. I always find that to be weird. But I grew in a relationship with her where it was ministry. Like, people were saying, oh, you guys look good together. But my eyes wasn't even there. It was just like ministry, There was other girls around where my eyes was focused on. But it's not until we start growing in ministry, start working on music, poetry, all this stuff together, that I started building a friendship, a relationship. There's other girls out there, but your eye might just catch them. You're just fantasizing, you just like them, it's all the flesh. But I had a relationship, a friendship with my wife. That's what I like. And it's still there to this day. That's why I married the woman I did.
It's good. I guess I have to go now, right? Yeah. Well, why did I choose my wife, right? Why did I choose my wife? There's a lot of reasons. Yo, man, you guys need to stop looking at me like that, bro. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my days. She's watching. And listening. No, but there's a lot of reasons. I would say, really and truly, we developed, a great friendship. One thing I noticed with her is that, ever since she got saved, she was always there. She was always active. She always wanted to, be in the house of God. She always wanted to, be a part of anything that was going on in church. And that was important to me and very valuable to me because, for me, I do want to do something for God. So if I always said, if I paired my life with somebody, I want to pair my life with someone, who is going to value the things of God, like I value the things of God. And she was definitely one to hold up that standard, right? Also, she was, very, very humble, right? A big heart, huge heart, right? And she could cook, man. She could cook, she could bake, So, I'm like, yo, bro, why not, man? Why not? All right, but obviously there's more things, man. But I'll just stop right there.
That's a good thing.
Oh, that's funny, man.
Colin, what would you say?
For me,
yourself?
my what made me marry my wife was she was selfless. Girls nowadays, I don't want to generalize, but a lot of selfish people around, and but she was very selfless. It's something that she did, and that I was like, oh wow, it was a small thing, but it was a big thing, in that sense. The day as a single man, you don't really cook as much. You only cook when you want to eat at the spot.
Indomie.
And I think she went to an event, and she saw me the next day, and she brought food for me, and I was so hungry. I'm like, oh wow, wow, like it's the thought that matters, right? And she did that. I'm like, oh. Then I started to see more things in her, and she showed the heart of her. She wanted to learn. She wanted to. She's easy to talk to. She wanted to learn. She wanted to serve, and that's one big thing, for me. Like, someone who I can also learn from her, so also like pour into, right? So yeah, that's one of the big things I've seen in her, and she's the one for me.
That's very good. I mean, I think one thing that will help for anybody, any man who is desiring marriage or anything, it's really, okay, what type of life do you want to live? But also, what do you want to do for God? What is the purpose of your marriage, right? And so did you guys factor that in when you guys were, going to get married? Like, what do I want my marriage to the purpose of my marriage to be? What do I want to use my marriage to do for God?
Yeah. 100%. I think, when me and Roshana were courting, one of the, first things I, let her know is that, hey, I want to be active in the kingdom of God, right? I really want to do something for God. So, whether that means pioneering a church, whether that means I'm a missionary, whether that means I'm just a pillar, right? I'm gonna be active, right? So that's gonna involve me spending time with people. That's gonna involve me doing a lot of things, right? You need to be on board with that, right? And she was on board with that, but that's something that I went through early, right? Because that's important to me, right? And I think really and truly in any marriage, right? If like anything really, like anything in life, if you're a guy that you're dedicated to something, or you're trying to you want to do something, you want to do this, you want to make sure the person that you're marrying is going to they're not going to tear that down, that they're going to add to it, or they're going to be it's going to be easy for you to bring them along while you go on that journey. You don't want to add someone to your life that's going to deter you away from your goal, or deter you away from what God wants to do in your life, right? So I think that's a conversation you definitely should have, and that's what I did, and thankfully she shared the same heart as me, and yeah.
Would you guys say, like, you guys had like a main purpose for your marriage going in, like what you wanted to use your marriage for? Or even while you were in marriage, did that kind of change for you guys, from you, Mello and Colin? Like, did you develop that purpose while your marriage was kind of going on in the beginning stages of your marriage?
I think for me it was more like exampleship. Exampleship was a big thing. Like, coming from the community that which I come from, like, you don't really see marriage, you don't see married people,
Yeah.
Like, I think as I was courting, I begin to understand like the steps, like that it's gonna like stuff that's gonna happen and reflection upon people because when I'm in a relationship we're courting, it was different, because at the end of courting there's marriage, and something was expected to happen, so we're expecting to get married, and like when my family and all of them seen that like, oh, this guy's serious, he's going to church, he has a girlfriend, he's courting, he's in a relationship, he's planning to get married, you know what I mean? So, and people are looking at your life and they're looking at the example and the stuff that you do. So that was a big thing. It was just like a shift in culture shift, you know what I mean? In your family, your household, everything. It was different, especially a Christian marriage, a Christian relationship. Because you grow up, you see uncles, aunties, they have different boyfriends, different girlfriends. But are a Christian, and you have younger nephews, younger cousins, they're looking up to you, they're not in the church, but they're looking up to you. And they're like, oh, my cousin's getting married, my auntie's getting married. You see the difference in people's response, especially in the church where people are looking towards you. Like, I never really had a big vision for my marriage, I'm in the kingdom, I'm serving in the kingdom, I always want to be moving in the kingdom, I never had planned out desires, if I get sent out, if I be a pastor, whatever, if it comes, it comes. I'm not the type to say I want to be a preacher, you know what I mean? But definitely men do have that desire and that drive, which is good. But me, it's different. It's just like, I'm not really planning something big. I'm in the will of God, and whatever God has in store, God's going to do. And it's good to have a person that's willing to do the things in Christ with you. So
Yeah.
a vision, wide-span vision was nothing that I had, but exampleship was a big thing, man. Trust me, it's a culture shift coming from Jane and Finch, coming from the hood, getting married, everything.
Yeah.
It's rare, very rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, honestly, at the beginning, I got married because my parents kind of set that example. My parents were married over 30 years, and my mom had been married, so I grew up saying that, so I thought it was something I should do too. And it's later on in the marriage I started to see, my marriage as an example to other people, right? Like, for example, from where my wife came from, my wife, I won't say a testimony, but she's from a broken home, right? So, and it's not until recently I started to see what example my marriage is to other people. I don't know how it's impacting their life, but it's impacting their life positively. And they come to me and they're telling me, oh man, I inspired to get married like you. I want to do what you're doing. I want to have a family. I want kids. And I'm like, oh wow, my own life is inspiring some other person. Indirectly, I don't even know that, right? And me, being the best, being the best husband I can be to my wife. It's seeing how it motivates other people and how it encourages other people kind of motivates me to want to do better. And even my brother-in-law, coming to me and saying, man, thank you, and for being an example. He's older than me, but I'm also inspiring his life too, right? So, and that kind of gives me motivation to want to, to be better in my own marriage and, kind of like, serve my wife. Marriage is all about serving someone, right? So serving my wife at the best of my ability. But yeah, that's it for me.
Okay, so with that being said, I have a two-part question for you guys. I think it's very, very good question. Obviously, us, being Christians, we go to church and we see the landscape of, men in the church. Why do you think that men are waiting? It seems like men are waiting later and later in life to get married. Like they're waiting older to get married. And the second part of that is, do you feel like sometimes the church puts such an emphasis on marriage that it can be kind of forced?
Marriage.
So the first part was, men, why do you think it seems like men are waiting later and later in life to get married? A lot of people, especially if you look, obviously in the older days, maybe in like the 50s or 60s or whatever, men got married relatively young, right? And you still see that now, but at the same time, it seems like, people are kind of waiting, men are waiting to their mid or even late 20s, some even 30s, to get married. So that's the first part of the question. Why do you think men are waiting later and later in life to get married?
I think it can be selfishness though, and sometimes it's all about me and what I want to do, and sometimes you don't want to give that time to someone else, right? And I feel like it's just like I want to enjoy my time. I don't want something to take me out of my comfort zone. I enjoy where I'm enjoying where my life is right now.
Right.
And if they kind of shine away from responsibility, I would say that pretty much.
I think it's just like what Colin said. I think it's a lot of stuff, but I think it's like it's fear, and they don't want the responsibility. I think a lot of guys just wait around. Like, what's the point of getting married? I think it's weird when you see a man that's been saved for like 10 years, 7 years. That's a high mature level. You're making a good income. You're over 28, you're over 27, but you don't want to get married. Yeah. It's kind of weird. Like, it's like it makes you really think: are you really serving God? Are you living a double life? Do you want to do the things of God? What are you doing with your life? Because in the church is filled with women. All churches. We're not talking about our church specifically. Women outnumber the men. It's rare. I never been in a church and I've seen more men than women. So it's weird to understand why men don't want to get married. Very weird to understand why men don't want to get married. I think it's a lack of, they don't want the responsibility of taking care of somebody else, worrying about somebody else, or sharing life with somebody else. And they live in like a false reality at the same time, because they think that, I'm waiting for the perfect one. You know what I mean? They think that like destiny, I'm waiting for Mrs. Right, or she's even waiting for Mr. Right. Which that's not biblical at all, because two people could get married, and if they live by biblical standards, it could work.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I think a lot of men shy away from the responsibility. There's a lot of stuff that I could say, but I don't want to disgrace and disrespect nobody. But I understand, get into people's personal life, but I think it's a lack. They don't want the responsibility. That's the main thing, I think it is.
Sometimes I feel as if like, you can feel inadequate. You can feel like you don't measure up. You can't reach the standard that maybe you see other men reach. If you kind of, sometimes you have like a perspective because you're watching other people do it. Yeah. You're watching how other people are performing in their marriage, how other men are rising. And you look at your life, and internally you think, maybe I can't reach that point, or I haven't reached that point yet. And so you draw yourself back from pursuing something like marriage, knowing that it's going to involve a lot of commitment on your side and a lot of responsibility, right? And so I think that can play a part definitely too. I know I can only speak for a lot of like, African homes, a lot of us, we stay at home longer. So at the same time, stay at home longer, and you're in a home with your mom or your dad or whatever, that doesn't necessarily maybe prepare you for marriage. And so there's so much of a comfort zone when you're in your home, and now you're transitioning from that into a marriage. I think sometimes maybe that can stop some men from pursuing that, because they're stuck within a comfort zone of being at home and being with their parents or having things a certain way, knowing that when they leave the home, that responsibility that they saw their parents have is now transitioning to them. Right? And so that can possibly be a reason why I think there's a hesitancy or a fear of why some men wait to get married. But do you, I remember listening and hearing this from somewhere else, that sometimes, marriage can, it can seem as if we make it an idol and we put that over Christ, over God. Do you think that sometimes in church we put such an emphasis on marriage that, we're kind of maybe pressuring people who are really not ready for marriage, but we pressure them because they hit a certain age or a certain mark in their Christianity, that we're saying, okay, it's your time?
Okay. I want to be careful when the way I answer this question, and how I answer this question. I I totally understand the idea of waiting, right? The Bible says that there is a time for everything. Solomon says there's a time for everything. I totally understand that. I
Yeah.
understand. I understand, right? But I feel that a lot of men are deceived to think that um, waiting is better,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
When the truth is, waiting makes you more rotten because
Wow.
it's really hard
Wow.
to change a 30-year-old man that's been living the way they wanted to live. 30 years old. I'm just throwing ages out there, by the way.
That's really
Right.
good though.
30
I didn't think
years
about it
old.
like that.
You've been living the way you want to. You add someone else to your life, right? Now you have to change. That's very, very difficult. As a 30-year-old man, it's very, very, very difficult, right? Now think about if you're doing that, as a youngin. Think about you're doing that as a 22, 23, 24-year-old, 25-year-old, right? 25 is way different than 30,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I mean, and to answer your question with like, do we put like a pedestal, like a kind of like an idol, with marriage? I mean personally, maybe some people can. Some people can make marriage seem like, oh, if you don't have this, right, you're failing in life, right? And I totally see where sometimes like people can do that, and that could like that's like, okay, like chill out, right? But a part of me still feels like it's very, very important, right? And it's very, very like it's I would almost say it's necessary, right, for there to be such a emphasis and a importance, right, on, hey, get married, right? I think it's very important because without when you're telling people to get married, what you're telling people to do is care for the family unit, build the family unit, don't run away from the family unit, right? People that don't get married, people that wait and prolong, right? What are they doing? They're running away from the family unit. They're running away from building something, right? And if you wanna grow in this life, you wanna mature in this life, you wanna be successful in this life, right? A lot of great men will tell you, right? Get married, work hard, and have kids,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's
I think, yeah.
Honestly, quick question: was anyone here married? Like, were you even? Do you think you were ready?
No.
I know.
heck no.
No.
So why?
Heck
So
no.
why wait?
Wait.
Yeah, I was far from mentally
Heck
ready,
no.
financially ready, everything.
I think I fooled myself into telling myself I was ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
not
think I was
ready.
like 21 years old. I'm like, yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
But I just wanted. I was just like, yo, I just want to do this. I want to do this. I want to take this leap of faith, because truly, really and truly, it was a leap of faith. I got married at 21. That was a leap of faith.
Yeah.
Yep.
I jumped into God's hands. I said, whoop, whoop.
Yeah. I think people think they could be ready.
No,
They could be
you know what it
mentally
is?
ready and financially ready, but it's not possible.
Not
I think it's just the fact that, to be honest with you, we as men don't like to fail. And I think that's what happens is because even though we know, oh, okay, people are encouraging us to get married, if you fail, if you make mistakes, which you are gonna make mistakes, you are gonna, you're gonna make mistakes and you're gonna pick yourself back up, but that a lot of the onus falls on you. At the end of the day that you get married and it's like, wow, man, it's really a change of your mindset, change of your comfort zone, change of everything. And I think that's why it's because we may think it's such a change that we actually psych ourselves and think it's a scary thing because, oh my goodness, like I'm going to have to do this. And the smallest thing that you're going to have to change now escalates in your mind and it becomes something bigger than it actually is. Because now you're like, my goodness, I'm going to get married. And so I have to stop doing this. I have to stop doing that. You know, I have to give my time this way. I gotta handle more of a task here in this arena in my life. So it plays a factor, right? And I think a lot of people's minds. I think those who have had the chance to live away from home for a bit, I think it helps them if they come into marriage, because they kind of know, even though, I mean, you'll never really be ready for it, you know what to expect to some degree, because you're not living at home with your parents. If you're living on your own and you have an understanding of how to take care of your own, then when you get married, you might be a little bit nervous, but you're not totally discouraged and you're not like psyched out. You know, it's not something completely new, right? Because you know what it is to live on your own.
But living
You know
with
what I
a
mean?
woman is different.
Oh yeah.
Living with a woman is different.
Very
It's different. It's
But
different.
you have to take care of that household. That everything is on you.
Yeah.
You're responsible for everything in that household. If anything
Yeah.
goes wrong in your marriage, it's on the man.
Yep.
You have to be like when it comes to the man's responsibility in the household, you're responsible for everything. Yeah, a woman is in charge of a lot of stuff. They're more domesticated.
Yep.
You know, they might take care of the finance, the whole household. But you know, you're responsible mentally, physically for that woman. Spiritually, you have to keep her on tack. Like you can't have your wife praying more than you. You can't have your wife reading more than you. You have to be on top of things. There are practical stuff that you could put in place, but no one's never ready for marriage.
Yeah.
There's things that could help you and things that's not going to help you. Like you could see with different cultures, you know, their family give them a whole bunch of money. But yet some cultures you see the divorce rate. You know what I mean? They go through all these counsels, wise preaching into their life, but you still see the divorce rate.
Yeah.
See, we're not
So-
really ready for none of these stuff. It's just
If that's the
if
case,
you have a Christ-centered relationship with Christ, that's what helps.
What's up, guys? This is Jason from the Genesis Podcast. And if you're wondering, where are these guys from? Well, I'll tell you. We're from the Proclaim Church, located at 31 Edgar Avenue, North York, Ontario. Now, if you want more information, you can always go to proclaimchurch.ca, where you will find a list of our activities. If you need a church you want to come to, you don't have a church, you're always welcome, right, to come to ours. Again, website is proclaimchurch.ca. Go there and you'll find all the information you need.
if that's the
He died
case,
himself.
if that's the case, then I would like to ask you, because it seems like you guys all had this. Then, if you weren't ready in a sense, and if you want to share, what were some of those struggles that you had prior to getting married? Like, you know, were you like, my goodness, I'm gonna get married, but I still have to overcome this area of my life. I still have to do this. And why didn't that stop you? And why did you guys push through that? What can you say made you push through that wall and still get married, knowing that maybe you were lacking in areas in your life that maybe were glaring to you, or maybe were things that you felt like, okay, how am I going to be able to get to a point where I can literally stand there and protect my wife and serve, my household, help my household, build up, my household as the man in the home, knowing that I have to go through these things?
Honestly, I'll be real honest with you. When I was courting and getting married now, I really did not look at myself at that time and say, man, I'm not ready. Right? I never said that. It's not until after I got married that I was like, maybe I wasn't really that ready to get married. But oh well, I'm married anyways. Yeah. Right? But when I was in that moment, man, I was just looking at it like, yo, I could do this. At 21 years old, I could do this. I can do this. Right? I was just so confident in God. Right? I was so confident that he was gonna take care of me. So confident, right, that he was gonna make it easy, and it was very easy, right? Obviously, like, at 21 years old, how much money could I have had at 21 years old? It wasn't a lot. I wasn't here, having a Italian wedding with 5,000 people. You know what I mean? Everything I did, with the wedding, preparing for this, preparing for that. It was, humble, whatever, humble beginnings,
Yep.
light, easy, whatever. But I never really looked at the situation and said, "Yo, I'm not ready." I was just so confident that that I could do this. I was so confident that God was gonna take care of me, right? And that I was just confident. I was just confident that I would be okay, right? I mean, think of it. I mean, I've been saved at the time that I got married. I've been saved for about 6 years, I believe. Or was it? I don't. I think it was 6 years. But I've been saved for 6 years, right? I've been rooted under spiritually mature men, right? Discipled under spiritually mature men, right? That were married themselves, right? Men that have a lot of wisdom, right? So I'm like, okay, so if I'm hanging out with guys like this, if I'm getting wisdom from guys like this, why wouldn't I be ready? Right? Or why wouldn't I be ready to take this step, take this leap? Why not? Right? So that's how I looked at it. I was just honestly, I was really, really confident in what God was gonna do. That's what I would say.
Yeah. You got that?
Yeah, if you can go quick, I have another couple quick questions, but I can take some. Yeah.
Honestly, go back to that question. I wasn't ready. I just knew I wasn't gonna sleep outside.
It's true.
I'm a Jamaican. I work. I've been taught to work, get a job, get a trade, go to school. I know how to work. I'm not gonna sleep outside.
That's facts.
We're from the hood. We see.
That's facts.
I grew up in Finch. We make fun of men that are dressing bummy, looking bummy, doing all the type of stuff bummy. So you know to go get money.
Yeah.
You know how to hustle some way, somehow.
That's facts. I like that you said that.
I'm not gonna sleep outside, and my wife is not gonna sleep outside.
Yeah.
Right.
So we weren't ready. So we just we know we liked each other. So how long am I gonna keep this passion burning? We have money. Let's put it together. Let's make something happen.
Yeah.
Let's just start work.
Yeah.
And just make it happen.
Yeah.
One big question. I think I had this one, another question, but this one's really big. I think that you hear this a lot in church, obviously from sisters. They say this. But what do you guys feel about this? You hear the comments. There isn't any men in church. There isn't any brothers in church. Do you believe this? Why or why not? And how can men change if it's true?
Oh man, I'm not gonna throw any brother under the bus, but I feel like, to be honest, I'm not gonna say I'm reading the female's mind, but women want godly men. Women in church want godly men, but at the same time, they want the men to look like the men in the world.
Hey! Yo, brother, say that again.
Women want godly men,
Okay.
but at the same time, they want the brothers to look like the men in the world.
Wow, bro. Wow. Yo, that's some stuff right there. Yo, be prepared for stones though. But continue.
You don't want to answer that?
I'm joking. I'm playing.
Question?
No, that's good though. No.
Keep going.
Continue going. Keep going. Keep going.
No,
Keep going. That's some good stuff right there.
That's true though, because I've talked to some ladies in China, and that's the way I didn't say it like that, but that's what I get from there. That's why that's why I can eat to preach from there. Women always talk through the bushes, but you can. Whereas men we shoot straight and we know what they're saying, and
they want the image of everything.
They want the image of.
Yeah, they want the 6'4". They want the man that's making money.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Want it to be tall. Want it to be
dark and handsome. Yeah.
I want him to be godly at the same time.
Yeah, I want him to be godly at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And it's not possible.
No, it's not. That's like, no way.
No way. But I also give it to the women for saying this though, that there's no men in church, because sometimes there are born men in church, but men forget, like, girls, they watch watch what you do.
Yeah.
They watch you. They watch your maturity level. They know your maturity level. They know you.
True.
So at the point where they say they want a man, there's no men in church. They're born men.
There's men in church.
There's men in church, but you're not man enough. You know what I mean? I was thinking about it today. Men run to men's discipleship. But how much men come out after the men's discipleship, start a ministry and do something? Every time they go do something, go out and do something, go out and do something. Like I tell you, I could never go to a regular church service again and just sit down. Like I have to be doing something. There's no way I'm going back to church and I'm not doing something at church while church is going, or even after church, something. You know what I mean? So women, they watch you. They watch you. They know what they're saying.
It's not even just doing something, man. So, man, just with the basic thing, cut your hair, shave your beard. Just the basic thing, bro.
Take care of it. You know
Take
what
care of yourself.
The thing is,
keep going though. Keep going. Don't stop now. Don't stop now. You said cut your hair, change your shirt, change your shoes. Don't stop. Continue going. Get a car. Get your license. Keep going. Move out your parents' house. Keep going. Don't stop now.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's very true, man. Move out your parents' house. Get a car. There's nothing wrong with living in your parents' house. You're mature in your school and you're a man, you know? But like some guys,
you can stay in your parents' house. That's fine.
Yeah.
But the basic things like get a license, get a car. You know,
consistent career, consistent job.
Yeah.
keep a job.
Yeah, keep a job. Keep a job. Yeah, and women notice that because, you know, girls talk, they see your life, you know? Girls come and inquire.
We promise we are not talking about anybody. We are not talking about anybody.
Open discussion.
This is open discussion. If you feel a type of way, it's because God's convicted you. That's it.
That's true.
That's it.
Hey man, some of the stuff you guys say, hey, I'm sitting here, and to be honest with you, yeah, you know, and you gotta take it. Even if you're someone who is married, you listen to this still, and you're probably gonna be like, you know what, yeah, I still need to fix up.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's not, yeah, like you said, Jason, like, you know, we're not coming in. It's not rooted against anyone.
No.
Not at all.
Just having an open discussion, really, just talking about this. But I don't know if you guys have any more on that question, but I have another question for you if you want to move on.
Bro, you have a lot of questions, bro. I feel like you here asking us all the questions. Bro. We should be asking you some questions.
Maybe we do a part 2 on that. If maybe I've done it.
But what's your question? What's your question?
Hopefully we can bring some signals.
Yo, you're saying part 2, right? Because you don't want the heat. You don't want the heat.
No, I got one question, and if you want to throw the heat, go ahead. But one question is, how much of men getting married do you think is rooted in lust? Like men are getting married, but really it's, you know, it's lust.
100%.
It's lust?
Yeah.
I mean
100% of men.
I mean
100.
we have
100% of men.
Yeah, I mean all men get
if you don't get married
all men get married because of sexual desire. I mean that's like
but what I'm talking about is like some people use you know, that verse, help me out. I'm going to butcher it, but help me out. It's really talking about, like, when Paul is in chapter 7 of 1 Corinthians, and Paul talks about if you're burning in lust, right? Okay, but,
just get married.
Yeah, so it's almost like every I remember a pastor coming and saying, it's like every single brother knows that scripture, saying that, like, if you're burning in lust, just go get married. Yeah. So sometimes, you know, men, they want to get married, but it's rooted really in lust, and so they get married, they fulfill their lustful desire, and then it's like a reality check to them. I'm not really saying, okay, yes, men want to get married because they have that desire for that, but I'm saying, like, besides that, literally, like, you know, do you feel as if some people literally get married because it's really rooted in that?
Man, I really don't know. It's really tough for me to answer that question, right? I mean, like, I hear what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but I really, really, really don't know. Now, would it surprise me if that's the case? No, it wouldn't at all, right? But it's hard for me to say, yeah, I could see, you know, this person. Nah, you know, I know for me, right? Was there, you know, did I have sexual desire? Yeah, heck yeah. Right, 21 years old, right? 21 years old in the world, they're in their sexual prime, right? They're humping everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so yeah, obviously, sexual desire was there, but for me to say, it was rooted in lust, right? It's tough. It's tough to say because you don't want to. I mean, you don't want to get you don't want to get married, right? And your mind is just it's lust
filled with lust.
It's
Yeah.
just you know what I
Filthy.
mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're not there.
Yeah, you're not there.
Yeah, especially for a man.
It's like it's like seeing a beautiful woman and like, oh, you're attracted to her physically, and you go talk to her, and there's no substance that
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
keep you there, man. You're gonna move away. You're gonna go to the next person.
Mhm.
As a man, as a single man, talking
Right,
to
right.
lady, it's not just the physical attraction, man. If the girl's
Yeah, I was
if the
gonna
girl
say
has a
that.
bad personality, you're gone,
It's
man.
not just looks. You gotta
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
you gotta have a little extra than that.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, you gotta still look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong though. Sorry, Mel.
No, you go.
But yeah, don't get me wrong. Like as obviously as a single man, yeah, dealt with lust, right? Dealt with a lot of sexual sin, a lot of sexual sin, pornography, I should say, right? So there's as a single guy, you're battling these things and right, you overcome and obviously there's still lust, there's the looking and you know what I mean, and you have to God, I'm sorry I looked, you know what I mean, but right, I get that stuff, but to have like a strong like
Burning,
lust, like to the point where you're about to anything that walks by,
Right, yeah,
you're just
yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's tough for me to really say if
That's
people,
why-
people are like that. I don't know.
That's why it's very important to be equally yoked.
Yep.
Because a lot of people only think that, equally yoked means, I'm a Christian not marrying non-Christian. That's why you have to be equally yoked sexually as Christians.
Wow.
You know? You gotta make sure your
Wow.
wife has the same sex drive as you.
Wow.
How do
because-
you even know? How do you even find that out?
You would know. We're Christians.
That is something I can.
No, I
I'll
need
tell
you.
I've
I
never
need
heard
you to
that
teach
before.
me. I know there's people listening, but I need you to teach me because I don't.
I've never
And
heard
when
that
you're courting
before.
process, you have to figure out these things.
How in the world you figure out if
How?
your wife or
you tell them
your,
you
the girl
share
you're courting?
testimony.
Okay.
You
I
guys
see.
have conversations.
I see.
Okay.
You know,
makes
But
sense.
some spouses, they don't want to know what their partner used to do.
Oh, you have to know.
They don't want to know the
You have-
history.
it's
Yeah, you
very
have to know the
important.
history.
You
Because
have-
Do
trust
you
me,
have to know the
if
history?
Very,
you
very
have-
important.
Very
Think
important.
about it. If you have a high sex drive and your wife has a low sex drive, you're gonna go into marriage and your wife is probably gonna feel like you're raping her.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Or it's gonna seem that way. It's very important that you guys have.
But they consent.
You guys, if you do consent. That's a different topic for a different. Could be rape your wife. That's a topic for a different day. But like, it's very important, man. We're not. If you're going to get married, you have to have grown-up conversations.
Yeah.
Right.
Finance, sex, faith, friendship. I always forget the fifth one. I don't remember.
Health.
There's 5 F's. My aunt always talks about finance, faith, friends, and something else. I keep forgetting.
Do you
But-
guys dive into health?
and help? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, help, yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
You have to.
you got this, you got that.
Yeah. Before you get married, before you start courting.
You gonna take tests and stuff
Yeah,
like
you
that?
go take
yeah?
your test.
Yeah, you guys gonna take tests?
Yeah,
Well-
before I started courting, I went to go take my
Well,
test.
I mean, I didn't have to do that, right? Because we were both virgins, right?
Oh,
So-
well, praise
okay.
God.
So
that was different.
Praise
for me.
God.
Not even
You-
the virgin. I'm talking. Some
Good
people. Some people have they carry sickle cell.
DNA.
Right,
So
right,
if you
right.
got AS and another person's AS, you can't get married. You're gonna have sickle
Right.
cell kids. So
Yeah.
Right,
you have to make sure that it's straight. You don't want to have kids that have sickle cell, right? So all those things you have to pay attention to.
Wow.
Yeah,
Imagine
you
that.
have to get. Like even Abigail was telling me in her church, they have councils for these stuff. The
Wow.
sickle cell.
Yeah.
They know the people's blood type. So
Yeah.
this girl over here, her family, you can't because of this.
Yeah.
Even
So
if
what do
she
you
looks
do if
pretty and
you
she
really want to
attractive,
marry her? You can't marry her?
No,
you
can't.
gotta face the reality that you can't have kids. That's what I'm saying. Before you get married, you have to have grown up conversations.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Marriage is a
I just-
serious responsibility, man.
Yeah, and it is serious. Yeah,
Going
no.
back to even your question, talking about idolization, is people. I don't think married people idolize it. I think maybe single people idolize it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we have to realize that it's the only institution God has created.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah.
But marriage, when Adam and Eve were born, when Adam and Eve were created, they were born married. You know? They were created married. So, marriage is serious business, bro. Equally yoked in sexual areas.
Wow, man. I feel like there's a
If you
lot.
could.
I mean, I can throw a lot of questions at you guys.
You can, man. You can.
can.
You can. There's a lot. There's a lot to dive in. There's a lot to talk about. And the crazy thing is that we'll never come to the point where we've arrived where we can say, "Yo, bro, I'm a marriage guru." You know what I mean?
No.
There's always, man. We're always learning, man.
You never graduate, man.
Never
Never
graduate.
graduate.
Yeah.
Never graduate.
Never graduate. Not at all.
Nope.
Yeah.
Not at
That's
all.
why I love talking to old married people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Old married
They
people.
have the best advice.
Best advice where
Yeah.
they started. There's beginning stories. The most successful ones, the beginning stories was not the most happiest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Financially,
Yeah.
I should say.
They're the funniest to
journey.
talk to
Funniest
too,
to
man.
talk to.
Yep.
Yeah.
It seems like the ones that started off poor and ended up okay in life, they're the ones that have the best marriage.
Best stories, best marriages, right? Just beautiful to see.
Yeah. Wow. This is good, man.
Yeah, maybe you
It
do
is.
need a part two.
Maybe I think we probably do.
Yoked stuff. Yeah.
Talk about single.
Single man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Single.
I know I'm the only.
Yeah,
I'm the only one who's not married on this podcast.
dating in church.
You're not married? You're not married?
I'm not married.
I swear you're married. You know.
Yeah, how long have I been married for, man? I don't think
Gotta
I'm
start
married.
pursuing, bro.
I gotta start pursuing,
Gotta
man.
start pursuing, bro.
I know, right?
No,
You don't want to be 28, 27 and single. That's crazy, bro.
My mind will go crazy.
You
My
will go
mind-
crazy.
that's what I'm saying, my
Your
mind will
mind
go
will be going crazy.
That
bro.
fire is gonna burn you, man.
Fire's gonna burn.
fire burn.
Oh man, that's funny, man. Yeah, hey, maybe it's a
Especially
part
if you
2.
got- Yeah.
Maybe if there's a part 2, maybe I'll be on the hot seat and you guys are fishing, firing questions at me.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
Being 3 of you.
Hopefully
married
we-
men.
Hopefully we can do that soon. But this was a very, very good episode. I do have one more question.
Yes.
And if you have another question after this, a closing one, then you could do that. But I just one more question as like all of us here, on this table. How important do you guys feel relationship is to our current generation? Is it something, do you feel that relationship or true marriage is the idea of marriage dying today, or do you think it's has maybe stayed the same and it's growing, or what do you guys think?
I think that God is still moving and God is still using marriages, and doing a work with marriages. If we focus so much on the outside instead of what's going internally, what's going on in the church, yes, it can seem as if the image of marriage is being distorted and that people are not taking it seriously. And God's original design of marriage between one man and one woman is now distorted, and people think it's okay to just marry the same sex or to be with the same sex, and you see all of this perversion and craziness going on, especially in school systems and media and stuff like that. So it does look like, yes, and it sucks because the generations under us are suffering because look at what they're witnessing, right? They're seeing all this chaos that's going on, but at the same time, that's why it's very important that we don't plug our minds into that. And we really focus on what's going on in the church. What is God doing for marriages? How is God using marriages in the church?
Yeah.
We have to keep our eyes so glued on the church. We have to be very, very careful in these times that we don't put our minds towards the world and worldly relationships. I know a lot of young people love to go on YouTube and look at YouTube couples and Instagram couples and all of these type of couples, right? That are they don't know who they are. They don't know if they're Christians, they're in church, nothing. And you put them on a pedestal. You're
Yeah.
idolizing them. You want your marriages to be like that. You want your relationship to be like this person on Instagram, that person on Instagram. You don't even know what type of spirits this person has. You don't know what type of spirits this person, is giving you. You know what I mean? Like, you really have to be careful. You plug your eyes, your mind, your heart, everything into Christ, and let Christ give you a blueprint of what marriage is, and stop letting the world give you a blueprint of what marriage is, or else every generation will suffer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man, just stay out of social media, man. That's just the highlights, man. Like, real marriage happens in closed doors, man. That's
In closed doors, yeah.
That's where it happens,
Yeah.
man. Forget social media, man.
Wow. That's a good question, though.
Yeah.
But there's more. Hopefully, part 2 will come. And definitely, this was good. I definitely learned a lot. I'm pretty sure listeners learned a lot. So we will sign off on today's episode. If anyone has any comments to leave off, do so. If not, we're signing out.
Yeah, use the message on the anchor. Ask questions on the message.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, do that, please.
Do that.
Thank you.
Ask questions. Please message us. Let us know. Even if you disagree with us, go ahead, disagree. Right?
We'll debate that.
Yeah,
We'll go into
we'll
that.
talk. We'll debate. We'll talk about that. Just let us know. We need feedback. And one last thing, say all that we do here, we do this right to proclaim, right, Jesus, to proclaim His goodness and His mercies and His grace. So if you're listening to this and you're not saved, I encourage you to give your life to Jesus. Right, turn away from your sin, right, and serve Him, because He loves you and He wants to redeem you from your sin.
We're signing out. This is the Genesis Cast, the Genesis Podcast, and it's your boy Desi.
Mellow.
Colin.
Deuces.
Oh, am I supposed to say something here, guys? What am I supposed to say?
What's your name?
It's Jason, man. We signing out.
We signing out. Take care, guys. Next week.